Motor, J Motor, J Motor, J Motor, recognize Heckler House, Heckler House. Oh, 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 oh.
What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Thomas back again with another rendition of Truth Be Told. Now, this week, again, nothing major going on in the news. Same old, same old. Everyone's still talking about the China V and the different various strains and blah, blah, blah. They did come out, and the CDC and WHO and basically came out and said they were lying to the people that masks don't work. So these crazy mandates and shit, it's just ridiculous. They're not needed, obviously. They even came out and said it's pretty much basically the flu. They literally stated that. So it's just gotten retarded. People are gotten ignorant. Hopefully people start waking up and realizing it's all a bunch of bullshit. Anyways, what I wanted to talk to you about this week was I just got done watching Cobra Kai, the new season 4. And I've kept you up to date on this, my thoughts on the show. This season, it was alright. I don't think it was nearly as good as some of the previous seasons, but it wasn't bad. It was okay. It is one of the better shows that have come out lately. Already knew that they were going to bring the character Terry back. I knew that was going to happen. However, the way they left it off, spoilers, if you haven't watched it yet, you might not want to hear this. I'm kind of curious how they're going to do season 5 with Reese going to jail and them splitting up, Terry and John. I don't know how that's going to work. Terry did say he had friends who could come and help, so I don't know what's going on there. They make it to where he is trying to build an empire of Cobra Kai, having several other dojos, Cobra Kai dojos. You got to see that the girls didn't win jack shit because he paid off the referee. We'll see how that plays out. My guess is they're going to make it to where Tori and Miss Little Princess becomes like good friends over that, because she'll tell her, hey, you know, it was all set up, it's bullshit. I don't know. We'll see how that pans out. Now, I'm seeing stuff where they're talking about like there was feminist cringe and shit in the show. The only thing I saw that was basically feminist was the whole championship at the end where they had the two girls fighting. I really didn't consider that all that feminist. It was kind of redonkulous, because they should have had the two best fighters at the end fighting for the championship, and that wasn't the girls. So I don't know where they're going to go with that. I did like the fact that they brought Chosen in at the end for season 5. I think that's going to be great. I wanted him in this last season to help fight, but they decided to wait to bring him in until season 5, which might have been a good choice or decision. We'll see. But at least they're going to bring him in, which is what I wanted. Now, how the whole thing with Miguel going and seeing his daddy and Johnny going after him, I'm not sure where they're going with that, to be honest. I'm not sure if they're going to make it to where his dad's a bum, or they're going to make him like he's like this notorious drug dealer or some shit. I don't know how they're going to do that. It would be kind of funny though if they got Antonio Banderas to play the part of his dad. It would just be funny as fuck if that's who they got to play his dad. But we'll see. My thoughts about the show was, other than the fact of trying to have the two girls fight at the end for the championship, was dumb. I didn't mind the fact that they had a supposed they're going to have a female champion in the tournament, a female champion division, for the girls. That didn't bother me at all. But them to be the two to fight at the end for the championship was just dumb. When you should have had the two to fight at the end is the best in the school. So it was dumb, and they're not the best in the school. I'm not a big fan of the Sam character. I think she's a little too prissy, too princess kind of shit. I like the Tori character. I just don't like the Sam one. She thinks she can get her way just by batting her eyes all the time. It's kind of dumb because she's kind of chubby. But anyways, this season wasn't bad. I give it 2 thumbs up. It's one of the better shows out right now, so definitely check it out. You probably won't be disappointed. And the fact that they're moving on to season 5 just tells you, the show's doing really well. In fact, it's one of the #1 rated shows out right now, so we'll see what happens. Alright, let's move on to your B-movie review. Okay, Movieaholics, this week is Horror Week. I chose 2 80s classics. I haven't done a Living Dead movie in a while, so I figured we'd do a couple of Living Dead movies. The first one is called Night of the Comet. It was done in 1984. and made about 14.5 million worldwide. It stars Catherine Mary Stewart, which was really popular back then. She did a lot of B-rated movies and cult classics. You also had Robert Belton in it, and you might know him better from Chakotay on Star Trek Voyager. And then you had Kelly Maroney, which I don't think she did very much with her career as far as acting. Anyway, the story is you have this comet that flies by the Earth, almost kind of like a solar flare. It kind of turns most people into dust for some odd reason. There are a few survivors. You only got like half the dose or whatever, and they're basically the Walking Dead. And then you have very, very few survivors who didn't get affected. And that's because, for some reason, odd reason, a metal shelter, like a shed, which is what her sister stayed in, is a metal shed. It doesn't affect people for some reason. They were protected. As they're exploring and finding out that they're pretty much alone, they run across a truck driver, which is Robert's character. They eventually run into a underground military scientific group who didn't get fully exposed, but they kind of half-assed got a little bit exposed. So now they need a way to cure themselves, and the way that they plan on doing this is by grabbing survivors who didn't get affected and draining their blood, and then transfusing it into themselves so they can stay alive. Well, they eventually figure out how to take them out. They avoid another planetary catastrophe and save the planet, basically. They pretty much survive and avoid the military and scientists in the underground bunker. That's pretty much the end of the movie. The acting was okay. It was decent. Wasn't bad. Special effects, well, it was the 80s, so it was kind of cheesy, but it wasn't horrible. Overall, the story was decent. It was a new spin on the whole Night of the Living Dead shit. But otherwise, I give it 2 thumbs up. If you like 80s classics, especially horror movies, it's definitely worth a watch. The next one I watched was called Day of the Dead. It was done in 1985, and it only made about $5 million. It's part of the George A. Romero Living Dead series. It's the 3rd installment, and it's usually overlooked a lot because it wasn't a huge favorite, but now it's become a cult classic. This starred Laurie Cardell and Joseph Pilato. Basically, you just have a bunch of people who's hidden down in this underground bunker as the dead's tearing up the world, and they're trying to figure out a cure. There's very few of them left, just a few scientists and a few military personnel. Well, the military and the scientists kind of get in a squabble over what's going on. The military captain, which is played by Joseph Pilato, he wants to know what the fuck's going on, if they got results or not, or should they split because they're dying left and right. There ain't many of them left. So he's wondering if they should split and find a place and forget it all, trying to find a cure. The scientists try to convince him that they probably won't find a cure anytime soon, that they should instead focus on trying to control the dead, which basically is a dumb idea. They have one particular subject they call Bud, and Bud kind of starts learning shit. He starts to remember how to do things when he was alive. So the military guys, they get in a big old fight with the scientists. When one of them gets bitten and a couple of them die again, so the dead subjects that they were keeping underground break free. This one nut job of a military guy, he goes up top and brings the dead down onto this elevator, brings them down into the bunker. Chaos ensues. Bud gets his revenge on the captain guy because they had a big fight at one point in time. He kills him with a gun instead of biting him. And then the female scientist, Laurie's character, the only female, and a couple other guys that are not military, they jump in a chopper, the only chopper they have, and then they get away at the end and get on this island. Or do they? It kind of made it look like it might be a dream. It was just kind of a strange ending. But that's the end of the movie. They're supposedly on an island out in the middle of nowhere. Although not as good as some of the other Dead series, the George A. Romero movies are the best of the Dead series, I personally believe. Unless you're talking about Return of the Living Dead series, some of those are pretty good too. But those are by far the best Living Dead series. This one, not so much. It was okay. It was better than most, but I honestly think the remake of Dawn of the Dead was probably the best of the best out of all of them. The acting was okay in this movie. It was decent. It wasn't horrible for like a B flick. The story, it was okay. It was the first time it was done. They've had similar stories since then. Would I recommend this movie? Sure, why not? It was decent enough for a Living Dead movie. I give it 2 thumbs up. Check it out if you're a hardcore horror fan and you're looking for a good zombie movie. This is one of the better ones. Anyways, if you have any thoughts about what I talked about earlier in the video, please leave your thoughts down in the comment section down below. If you can think of any underrated or movies that are overlooked that are actually pretty decent and you have some suggestions to give to me to review, please leave your suggestions down in the comment section down below and I'll get to reviewing them as soon as I can. So until next time, I told you you'd be told the truth and you just been told.